Good afternoon. On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution, congratulations to the classes of 2020 and spring 2021. We are so happy to have all of you here today on this gorgeous day, and we are so happy to be celebrating all of our graduates. And with that in mind, I ask all students receiving a degree today to stand and be recognized. Let's give them a big round of applause. You may all be seated. My name is Thomas Flores, and I'm an associate professor and director of graduate programs at the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution. It's my pleasure to welcome you all here today to celebrate our brilliant graduates as they end their studies at George Mason Universities and begin a new, exciting stage of their lives. And it's also my pleasure to introduce Dr. Alpaslan Ozerdem, the Dean of the Carter School and Professor of Peace and Conflict Studies. Dean Ozerdem is an expert in post-conflict reconstruction, including peace building, state building, and security sector reform. He has spent over 20 years as a researcher and advisor in Afghanistan, El Salvador, Indonesia, Lebanon, Liberia, the Philippines, Turkey, and beyond. Among his many accomplishments, he has published 14 books and numerous articles. He has been Associate Pro Vice Chancellor for Research at Coventry University in the United Kingdom. I've personally had the pleasure to witness Dean Ozerdem's energetic work to reinvigorate the Carter School during his time as Dean. He has carefully guided our school during a tumultuous time, always with an eye towards giving our students new opportunities to develop as intellectuals and practitioners. Let's welcome him to the stage.
Thank you, Thomas. Hello, Carter School graduating class of 2021. Congratulations on making it to the finish line. Today, we celebrate your academic achievements and congratulate your families, friends, loved ones, and of course, our outstanding faculty and staff who supported you on this journey. Despite the last year in which you faced many challenges, you dug your feet in, worked hard, and here you are today, a Carter School graduate. You earned this moment, and I'm immensely proud of all of you. As you step into the next chapter of your life, whatever your story, whatever it took for you to get here, you are ready. You are ready to take on the task of and make good on a promise to do whatever it takes to build peace in all communities. Now, it's up to you to create meaningful and sustainable change that would bring us closer toward a more just and peaceful world. Today, you become a Carter School alumni and join a prominent line of phenomenal people who have done and continue to do incredible work in our field. And it's my hope that you will do the same. Congratulations to all of you. Now, go out there and make waves of impact for peace and justice. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Ozerdem, for your inspiring words. It's now my pleasure to introduce my colleague and my friend, Dr. Mara Cheney. Dr. Cheney is an associate professor and director of undergraduate programs here at the Carter School. Her research and practice center on the practice of nonviolence, education and training, and dialogue processes. She's a former youth camp director with experience in traditional camp settings, as well as dialogue and coexistence camps for youth from conflict areas. As director of undergraduate programs, Mara has overseen an expansion of our curricular offerings and reforms to our concentrations. On a personal note, having worked with Dr. Cheney very closely for the last year, she has a laser-sharp focus on students' needs, both in and out of the classrooms. And our undergraduate students, I think, appreciate her leadership. Let's welcome her to the stage.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of the undergraduate program, I want to particularly welcome all of you who are graduating today, 2020 graduates, as well as our 2021 graduates. On your graduation day here in the sun, which we are so grateful for, we are here to honor your hard work and your dedication and your perseverance. You put in the hours, you juggled crazy schedules, you learned new ways to take class. You did the work, and you've learned a great deal, and you've also taught us a great deal. You have been scholars, athletes, researchers, ambassadors, friends, leaders, and organizers while here at Mason. I am so proud of you today. You are participating in a tradition, one that includes college graduations around the globe. Family, friends, and graduates take a moment to recognize and celebrate accomplishment, a waypoint along the paths that have included and will include many challenges, a lot of work, and potential diversions. We dress up a little or a lot. We pause, we give thanks, and we look back and forward. Now, I have a poem for you. Some of you who've had classes with me before know I like poetry. I think it allows us a language that says things that sometimes ordinary words don't quite capture. And I've said the word work, and our other speakers have as well. So I have something to share from you from Wendell Berry. He's a Kentucky farmer, an environmental activist, and a writer. This is a piece of his poem called The Real Work. And he writes, "It may be that when we no longer know what to do, we have come to our real work. And that when we no longer know which way to go, we've come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled is not employed. The impeded stream is the one that sings." Now, I do wish for you employment and also bafflement, questions that take time to puzzle over, and I wish for you singing and celebration, but also challenges and wicked problems that take all of your expertise. I am so happy for you all today and glad that the school is part of your journey. Congratulations to you, 2020 and 2021 graduates. Give yourselves a hand. And now I'm very happy to introduce our graduation speaker. After graduating high school in East Grand Forks, Minnesota, Catherine decided to attend George Mason University. Kate started out studying at the Schar School of Policy and Government, but realizing after an introductory conflict course that the field of conflict analysis and resolution was her passion and where her passion came to life. Kate's concentration in global engagement came in handy when going abroad for 2 terms, one to Santiago, Chile, and one to take a course on Latin American history, told through its revolutions, and to Budapest, Hungary, where she worked with an NGO while studying concepts such as nationalism and minority rights. Kate plans to pursue her interest in the fields of counterterrorism and diplomacy after graduation.
I'm a bit short. Thank you. Good afternoon, family, friends, and classmates. First of all, I would like to thank those that have helped us get to where we are today. Thank you to our families, those we were born into and those we made along the way, who have supported us through all of our challenges and our successes. Thank you to our classmates, who encouraged us to speak up in the classroom and pushed back on our ideas, helping us to see the world from new perspectives. We learned from each other in and outside of the classrooms. And thank you to our professors, who encouraged our curiosity and helped us find the tools we needed to succeed. I could stand before you today and say I want world peace. But what good would that do? What does peace even mean? To some, it's being able to walk home at night without brandishing their keys as weapons. To others, peace is being able to survive a traffic stop regardless of the color of their skin. And there are those who define peace as being able to go home at night without a war tearing their families apart. Peace is messy and complicated, and sometimes it can be really hard. And not one person can achieve peace alone. It takes the collective. It takes the community coming together and making the choice to work towards peace every day. We look at what work we've done, what work we are doing, and what work needs to be done. And we make the choice as a community on when to use our voices and when to take action. In the field of conflict resolution, we understand the importance of opening the way for conversation and reaching across those lines drawn in the sand. But we're not so naive as to think that conversation alone paves the way towards peace, and sometimes actions speak louder than words. Many of my classmates sitting before you today have already begun making their mark on the world. There are those working with NGOs to help those that cannot help themselves, those who are active in protests advocating for change, and there are those who are ready and willing to serve their country and protect its citizens. I am honored to be standing amongst these trailblazers and leaders. At the School for Conflict Analysis and Resolution, at the Carter School for Peace Studies, we see the importance of looking at things from all perspectives and gaining a new understanding. We embrace the fearlessness of our generation. We embody the empathy towards our fellow human, and we have the tenacity to fix the broken systems around us. Conflict resolution forces you to go outside of your comfort zone, and once you are outside of your comfort zone, the possibilities are endless. In recent events, it can be seen as hard to have hope. But one thing I've learned studying at the Carter School is that it costs us nothing to have hope, but it could cost us everything to lose that hope. Congratulations, fellow graduates. Here are to the conflicts we will rise above and the differences we will make on the world.
Thank you, Catherine. And we will have a special token of appreciation for you, and I think Leslie Durham has it for you. Congratulations then to all of our undergraduate students. And now, as Director of Graduate Programs, it's my pleasure to congratulate our master's and doctoral graduates. It's been a long and tumultuous academic year. Actually, it's been longer than that. It's been about 14 months when the university did one of the oddest things it could do. It sent us all home. During the last 14 months, you faced challenges unlike any we could have imagined last March. You took online courses instead of working face-to-face with the faculty and staff who care so much about you. Students writing theses and dissertations were forced to cut short or delay their fieldwork. Some of you might have lost people who are dear to you. We all missed out on the simple joys of running into a friend or professor that we like so much, stopping to have a coffee, and having a spontaneous but deep conversation about the nature of the world we live in. In our national life, the killing of black people by police and the insurrection at our own capital, only 20 miles away, forced us to confront the influence of conflict and hatred in our own backyard and in our own community. But Carter School students don't run from problems. Carter School students don't shy away from the big questions. You run into the flame, not away from it. So you responded to the worst of times with the best of who you are. You planned and conducted research. You read, probably more than you would have liked. You wrote, probably more than you would have liked. You thought and you learned, but you also acted. You marched. You protested. You raised issues, hard ones. You led dialogues and mediated the most difficult of conversations. You led organizations with compassion and vision. You cared for each other and for your families. So on this gorgeous day, we gather here to celebrate not only your brilliant academic achievements, which are many, but your work, your grit, your undying devotion to the cause of peace and justice in our world. And so I thank you. I thank you for your inspiration. I thank you for your wisdom and for your grace. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Chinyere Irondu. Chinyere is the proud daughter of Doctors Amechi and Adaku and the late Dr. Ugochi. Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, she is the oldest of two siblings, Chikosi and Uzuamaka. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Global Affairs and International Development from George Mason University, and in 2020, she completed her continuing education certificate in theology and racialized policing as directed by Howard University's School of Divinity with Sojourners and the Christian Community Development Association. Chinyere is an ordained elder in the Seventh-day Adventist Church and a first-generation Nigerian American. Her research surrounds womanist thought, African diasporic literature, and their role as a foundation in faith spaces. She is the creator and principal writer of The Conflicted Womanist at theconflictedwomanist.com, which is a space created to bring the layered experiences of Black women to the forefront so they could heal and show up authentically in their everyday lives, relationships, and communities. As of today, Chinyere holds a master's in conflict analysis and resolution with an emphasis on inclusive conflict engagement from the Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution. In the fall of this year, she is excited to continue her Master's of Divinity degree at Vanderbilt University's Divinity School on a full scholarship. Chinyere, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to you, the Carter School graduate class of 2021. Over the duration of our time here, we have witnessed, actively participated in, reimagined, divested from places and thoughts, and reflected upon what peace and conflict resolution indeed looks like. And after our time here, we now know that we have been placed for such a time as this. My experience here at the Carter School has been rich, eye-opening, and a catalytic hub of growth. Because the Carter School emphasizes both research and the practice of peace and conflict resolution, I took the initiative to pair this degree with a Master's of Divinity degree, where I dually study the intersection of race, gender, and religion, particularly through womanist and conflict resolution frameworks. Over these 2 years, I then became involved with the Carter School Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee as one of the graduate student members, and also with the John Mitchell Jr. Program for History, Justice, and Race as a student program associate. I traveled abroad with a core group of students with Dr. Dwyer to Indonesia to learn more through practice about this intersection as well of gender and conflict. And more recently, I was able to create a directed reading course with Dr. Scheherazade Jafari, where we study the works of womanist and feminist of color poets for conflict and resolution skills. We then created the space to study the combination of art, activism, and conflict resolution. Ultimately, my time here at the Carter School has proven the importance of embracing the multiplicity, complex, and unconfinable nature of who we are as transformative conflict practitioners. The Carter School is an excellent space for inquisitive, passionate, outspoken, community-invested truth tellers who seek and relentlessly pursue peace and justice in all areas of our world. Here we can research and reflect, love and demand truth, imagine and create. And there's no better place for this to start than in our own hallways. However, the Carter School would not be as it is without you. And so I commend you for striving to make the Carter School a just and equitable place. I commend you for all of the hard work that you have done, even in the midst of abnormal circumstances. And I believe it is our collective hope that our impact in our school, in our communities, and in our world can only but increase. I especially want to thank at this time Dr. Jafari, Dr. Chavez, Dr. Dickerson, Dr. Fuertes, Sharice and Audrey, my class cohort, my therapist, my family and church community, and my close friends, and all of my loved ones for all of your deep-rooted support along the way. I could not have made it without you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shinyeri. And like with Catherine, there'll be a token of appreciation for you just off stage. And now it's our time to recognize our BA and BS degree graduates. If you're receiving your BA or BS, please stand and come over to the side of the stage so you can receive your degree. And Dean Ozerdem, we ask you to come forward. Your names will be read by Leslie Durham, Academic Advisor Extraordinaire and Undergraduate Coordinator.
You're going to Sarah Rickert. Hey, Mom, come on. It's a struggle for everybody to know that, right? Alexandra Booth. Annika Kaur Mann. Nicole Jing Herman. Jingwei Herman. Carter Rainey. Rebecca Hartgraves. There it goes. Alexandra Bruce. Gabriella Hessinger. Julianne Van Brink. Jenna Timberlake. Amelia Joy Johnston. Kate Strezijar.
Congratulations to our BA and BS graduates. And now it's time for recipients of an MS degree to come to the stage. Master's candidates, come on up. Dean Ozadem can remain to join me in congratulating our graduates, and their names will be read by Charisse Cardenas, Associate Director for Graduate Student Services.
It is my pleasure to recognize our master's students. Ashley Cox. Wazma Yusafi. The beautiful Shaniere Irondu. Julianne Katz. Julianne Mueller. Sarah Ahmed Atafi. Betsy Riley. Guillaume Mpoko.
And last but not least, it's time to recognize our doctoral graduates. Graduates, you can come over to the left. We asked Dean Ozerdom to stay on the stage, and your names will again be read by Charisse Cardenas.
It is our pleasure to recognize two very distinguished and special guests. Dr. Carol Danielle Kaspari. Dissertation Chair Richard Rubenstein. Dissertation title, Everyday Resistance in the Occupied Palestinian Territories, a study of the tactics of Samad and their effects on power. The very distinguished Dr. James Moon. Dissertation Chair Solon Simmons. Dissertation title, The Tyranny of Piety, Power and Rhetoric in the Southern Baptist Convention Conflict.
One last round of applause for all of our amazing graduates from all of our programs. We are now at the end of our ceremony, but before we proceed, I'd like to recognize two wonderful groups of people. Just a few weeks ago, we received word from the university, and they said, you can have a commencement in person. And we said, that's wonderful news. We need to organize one. And these things don't happen on their own. They happen because of the amazing hard work of the staff of the Carter School. And so I think it's a wonderful time to recognize the people who did so much to plan and make this event happen. And I'd like to recognize especially Charisse Cardenas, Maria Sinew, Leslie Durham, Emma Kleinberg, Paul Snodgrass, Mercedes Alsop, Barbara Breckenridge, and Nora Malatinsky. Thanks to all of you. Our staff never stop working for our students from the moment they start applying to the time they graduate, and usually beyond then. So congratulations. Secondly, I'd like to recognize the parents, grandparents, siblings, cousins, partners, children, and friends who supported these wonderful students over the course of their studies. Today, overwhelmingly, is a day we celebrate our graduates. But I know from personal experience that completing a degree is the work of a team. So congratulations to all of you for supporting these wonderful people. So we're at the closing of our ceremony and the conclusion of these wonderful students' studies at the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter School for Peace and Conflict Resolution. In a broader sense, your journey is just beginning, though, as you go into the world to pursue justice and build peace. And as you do, please remember that we're always with you and that you always have a home at the Carter School. Please remain seated while the faculty and student speakers recess. And on behalf of Dean Ozerdem, the entire faculty and staff, we thank you for joining us today. And especially a special thank you to everyone in attendance and those who are sending their love and well wishes from afar. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I hope the celebration is only just beginning.
Congratulations, graduates. Please remain seated until your row is dismissed by an usher or university marshal. We want to ensure everyone's health and safety. Please maintain 6 feet of social distance from other parties when exiting.